Hello everyone, welcome to Evening Yoga brought to you by Hedberg Public Library. I'm Gabi and I will be your yoga teacher for this evening. Tonight's lesson is a very gentle, beginner-friendly Vinyasa Yoga flow. And Vinyasa is just a yoga term that means we move and pay attention to our breathing at the same time. So if you're a beginner, don't let that scare you. We will talk about modifications or ways to make different poses more comfortable or more manageable if you are not an avid yoga practicer, or if you have particular body aches. Many people have knee pain, so some poses aren't ideal for sensitive knees, and we'll talk about that to make sure that poses are right for you. As always, when we practice yoga, it is an experiment in moving our body, sometimes in new ways. So please remember, if you're practicing at home, that pain when practicing yoga is not good, so stop. Discomfort when practicing yoga is an opportunity to play, learn, or experiment with ways to get comfortable or uncomfortable and learn what our bodies can do. So let's begin in a comfortable seated position this evening, whatever that might look like for you. I'm going to say cross-legged on the ground. You might choose to sit up a little bit on a cushion or a pillow if you find that this makes your knees or your hips tight already. All right. It is the month of February, and in February we tend to focus on Valentine's Day and spreading or sending a little extra love. So this evening's yoga class is going to be focusing on an open heart. And this doesn't necessarily mean that we do big heart opener poses like wheel or even camel, some of those more exaggerated heart openers. We can open our hearts in a lot of ways. And tonight, I invite you to focus on leading with your heart through all the poses. Think about leading the pose with your chest and your chest space so that we have that metaphor of leading with an open heart. So, in a nice, comfortable position, I invite you to close your eyes if you'd like, or rest your gaze gently kind of out in front of you on the floor. And just begin to notice your breathing. Taking nice, deep inhales, slow and steady exhales. And just kind of settling into your body, settling into the moment, and settling into this practice. As you get comfortable here and begin to let go of your to-do lists, let go of the day you've had thus far, take a nice inhale and squeeze your shoulders up towards your ears. And as you exhale, roll them back so that your shoulder blades draw together. And you kind of notice that your chest begins to lift already. So focusing on lifting up with our front body and drawing down with our back body, and taking nice deep breaths here. We're going to start to create a little heat. Inhale longer. pause at the top of your breath, so kind of holding it and exhaling longer. Try that a few times at your own pace. A nice deep inhale. Pause. And a nice deep exhale. All while maintaining this lift through our front body and drawing down through our back. We're going to bring our hands together and we're going to create a little heat. So rub them together, just like you would if you were trying to warm up your fingers on a cold day like today. And we're going to bring that heat to our hearts. Focus on your breathing. And I invite you in this moment to either set an intention for your practice, or your day, or maybe for yourself for the rest of February, to lead with love. Love for others, so being kind out in the world. Love for your neighbor, for your family and friends. And also love for yourself. Take a moment to think about what that means and what that looks like for you. And see if you can embody that love throughout our practice today. So when you're ready, you can open your eyes, and we're going to bring our hands to the tops of our knees. And we're going to start with a seated cat and cow. So we're going to begin to warm up our spine. And remember, we're going to try to lead with our heart when we move here today, because how we move matters. So show yourself love and move with intention. So we're going to take a nice deep inhale. And when we inhale, we're going to arch our spine so that our tummies come forward and our heads come up. And we're going to exhale to round the spine, kind of leaning and arching back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, round back. I invite you to do this a couple times at your own breathing pace, and that might look different than mine, so don't worry. Next time you inhale to come forward, we're going to continue cat and cow in a more traditional manner on our hands and knees. So make your way there slowly. Our hands should be underneath our shoulders and our knees about hip width apart. We're going to continue. Inhale, drop your belly and look up. Tailbone towards the ceiling. Exhale, round your spine, drawing up through the navel and keeping our neck long. We're not going to crunch our neck or sink into our shoulders. So continue to press away from the mat. And moving with your breath and breathing at your own pace. We're When you're ready, you can come back to a neutral spine, so a relatively flat back. And we're going to spread our knees wide towards the edges of our mat. And we're going to take our right arm, we'll do our left arm first so you can fully see it. And we're going to reach it out in front of us. Open up to the side, so we're at a nice long angle here. And then we're going to thread the needle. So we're going to reach our left arm underneath our right and bring our left shoulder down towards the mat. And we have a couple options here with our right hand. I hope you can see that. You can leave it down on the ground here to support yourself. You can reach it out in front of you to feel a nice stretch along your right side body. You can reach up towards the ceiling, or if you'd like a gentle twist, you can wrap it around to kind of come underneath and rest on the top of your left thigh. Feel free to play here and find which variation works best for you. So we're opening our hearts up to the side. And gently untwist. We're going to open up to come out of that twist fully with our left arm extending towards the ceiling, reaching up nice and high. And coming back to all fours. We're going to repeat this on the right side. So pushing our weight into our left arm. Our right arm reaches out in front of us. Opens up to the ceiling. And then twist to reach under and through to thread the needle. And with our left hand, we can reach it out in front of us, up high to the ceiling, or behind and on our thigh for a gentle twist. And coming out of the twist when you're ready, back to all fours. From this pose with our knees still nice and wide, we're going to sink back into child's pose. So bringing your tailbone towards your heels and then stretching out either long in front of you, or you can bring your arms next to you so that your fingers reach towards your toes. I like to do child's pose with my knees wide because it creates a nice space for some belly breathing. But if this is uncomfortable to you, you can bring your knees together and fold either on top of them with your arms out front or next to you. Child's pose is a restful pose. So if at any point during this practice you need to come back here to take a rest, catch your breath, or even take a moment to reflect, you are always welcome to do so, and then join us when you're ready. When you're ready, we're going to come back to all fours. Our wrists underneath our shoulders, knees hip width apart. We're going to curl our toes and leading with our hips and pressing back with our heart, we're going to come into downward dog. You can take a few moments to play here to get comfy, as this is our first downward dog of the practice. So you might pedal your feet up and down or bend one knee very far to kind of stretch out the other leg. Whoops, there goes my button. And then pressing back, so pressing away with your hands, ground into all the knuckles of your fingers so that we're not putting all the pressure in our wrists, and leading so that our heart is reaching towards our knees to really feel that stretch in both our chest and our upper back. From our downward dog, we're going to pick up our right foot and bring it up
We're not going to bring it up too far, so we're trying to still keep our hips level with parallel with the ground and pushing back and away from our mat. Nice long arms leading with our heart. You can do some small ankle circles here. One way and then the other. And then we're going to bring our knee to our nose and kick it back up. Knee to our nose and back up. We're going to do this 2 more times, leading with our heart. So focus on where your heart is moving. On this next one, we're going to bring our right foot and step it in between our hands. And we're going to bring our left knee to the ground and come up into a low lunge. So we're going to do a little alignment check here to make sure everything is nice and safe. We want to try to keep our knee over our ankle so we can still see our big toe. And we're going to focus on bringing our thighs towards the center, our pelvis, our chest, and our neck all in a nice line here. You can put your hands on your hips as you kind of find your stability. And when you're ready, you can bring your arms up. And for some heart opening, we're going to do big cactus arms. So bringing our arms out and doing a gentle back bend, raising up our hearts, turning on your core. And bringing your hands back down. We're going to open up. So planting our left hand and bringing our right arm up to the sky in a gentle twist. Planting both hands back on the ground and stepping back into downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet. Feel that good stretch. We're going to repeat this with our left leg, so raising our left leg up, bringing our knee to our nose, and back up. Two more times. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, kick it out. And this time we're going to step our left foot in between our hands. Bring your right knee to the ground. And from your core, rising up. Reach your arms over your head. And opening up your heart with some cactus arms and a gentle back bend. We're going to plant our right hand on the ground and bring our left hand up towards the ceiling, opening up. We're not collapsing in our shoulder here, so continue to press away from the mat and twist to open your heart. And plant both hands back on the mat. Step back in the downward dog. And we're going to walk our way for our feet to meet our hands at the top of our mat. Rising up. And whatever movements kind of feel good here, shake it out. Set yourself up. We're going to come into a nice, firm mounted pose. So you can either stand with your hips, with your feet about hip width apart, or your feet together, really together. We're going to draw our shoulders up and back, tuck our pelvis. So we have our head over our heart and our heart over our pelvis. Feeling grounding in this pose. So really connecting your feet to the floor. And also feeling the length, nice and long through your spine, and almost envisioning that there is a string kind of just pulling you a little bit taller, coming out the top of your head. Nice, deep breaths. All right, I'm gonna take a step back just so I don't hit the wall here. We're going to inhale with our arms up over our head,
And when you're here, we're going to grab your left hand with your right, so just kind of grab it gently at the wrist. I'm bringing it down here so you can see, not that it's cut off at the camera. So arms up overhead. With your right hand, gently grab your left wrist and bend gently to the right, feeling a nice stretch along your left side body. Reaching back up to the center, and now we're going to switch. So bringing our left hand to gently grasp our right, and we're going to reach up and over to the left side to feel a stretch along our right side body. Reaching back up to center, and we're going to come down with some nice big cactus arms to open. We're going to repeat this with a couple of forward folds added in. So we're going to reach up and overhead as we inhale nice and long, and we're going to exhale, float our hands down into forward fold. Inhale, we're going to come into a halfway lift, and your halfway might look different than mine, but the idea is to have a relatively flat back. So whether that's lower, grabbing your ankles, or using a pair of blocks, or even putting your hands on your thighs. We're going to exhale, fold. Inhale, bend your knees and sweep your arms up to the sky. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend your knees and sweep your arms up. I invite you to envision that we're leading with our heart as we fold, as we lift, and as we continue this flow. Focusing on leading the movement with your heart and with your breath. We're going to do a couple of these, and I invite you to do them at your own pace. Focusing on breathing when we fold. Inhaling when we rise. Leading with your heart. We're going to do 2 more. On your last inhale, reach up really, really, really tall, really high. And bring your hands back to heart center as you exhale it all out. Feel free to give it a little shake it out, whatever movement feels good in the moment. We're going to make our way onto our bellies. So lying completely flat on your mat. Whatever way feels best for you there. If you want to go through plank and chaturanga, feel free to do so. But we're going to spend a little time in Sphinx Pose. So laying on our bellies, we're going to bring our elbows just about in line with our ribs. Shoulder width apart. And we're going to curl our toes down, so the tops of your toes are on the floor. Zip up your legs. And we're going to press into our fingers, our palms, our forearms, and our elbows. So really engaging the entire forearm here to lift our chest away from the mat. Nice long neck. We're not crunching it to look up. We're not drooping it to look down. Creating a lot of space for our heart here. Sphinx and cobra, baby cobra, things like that when we're lifting like this. And I invite you to do this if you need a little bit more of a challenge for your back bend.
are all excellent back bends that aren't necessarily as intense as camel or wheel, which many people tend to think of when doing a heart opening sequence. But if we think about shining a light out from our heart, even in this pose, engaging our core, our pelvis, even our leg muscles to really keep us nice and firm right here. Pull your shoulders back and away from one another. So we're not hunching, we're not curling in like this. We're letting the light shine out from our hearts, nice and open. And we can release to the floor. If you would like to press up and explore baby cobra, you can bring your hands to about by your ribs and press up low or higher, whatever is comfortable, or if you're looking for a challenge to explore there as well. So we're gonna do this a few times, either in baby cobra or bigger cobra. As we inhale, we're going to press up. As we exhale, we're gonna bring our forehead to the floor. We'll do this a total of 5 breath cycles. Feel free to go at your own pace. We're going to inhale, press up. Exhale, lower. Remember to focus on leading and creating space with your heart. Excellent. On your last one, we're going to flip over onto our backs. And we're going to bring our knees into our chest and give our knees a nice tight squeeze, maybe rocking side to side, massage that spine after doing some back bends. Excellent. When you're ready, you can bring your feet to the floor. Center myself on my back here a little bit. Your knees are still bent and they're drawn a little bit closer to your bottom. Our hands are on the mat and we're going to bring our draw our shoulder blades underneath us. And as we inhale, we're going to press with our feet and our arms into the mat to lift the pelvis into bridge pose. So as we inhale, we're going to lift up. And we're gonna hold for just a little bit, pressing down with the arms, engaging the core, the glutes, the legs. And exhale, lower back down to the ground. Give your knees a hug, squeezing them into your chest. We're gonna do 2 more bridges. Release your feet to the ground. Draw your shoulder blades underneath your back. And as you inhale, press up. Remember to breathe and think about the space you're making with your heart. Exhale, lower. If you need to reposition a little bit, or if you would like to use a block, you can place a block underneath your lower back for some extra support to just kind of hang out in this pose if you would like. But we're going to inhale and lift for our last one. And exhale, lower. Bring your knees in your chest for one last squeeze. And we're gonna come up to a seated position. All right, we're in our nice, comfortable seated position. We're going to inhale and squeeze our shoulders to our ears.
And exhale, draw them down and back. Shoulder blades come together, chest is nice and open. We're going to reach our arms out nice and in front of us, like you're reaching for something that you really want. And then we're going to wrap our arms around ourselves in a nice hug. We're going to lift our elbows. So focus on being nice and tall in your spine. Lifting, lifting. Maybe give yourself a little back rub right here. And we're gonna breathe. Nice deep breaths. When we move our body in kind and loving ways, we are showing our bodies that we are worthy of care and movement. Reach out nice and long in front of you, really stretch. Feel it engage all the way across your chest and that energy coming out your fingertips. And we're gonna wrap the opposite arm on top this time. Lifting the elbows, maintaining a nice tall spine. Letting the love that we showed ourselves today really sink in, really squeeze it in there so it stays. By showing up for you today, you are telling yourself that you are worthy of rest, worthy of care, and worthy of love. We're gonna reach out nice and wide, like we're gonna give the whole world a hug. And we're gonna bring our hands to our heart. If you have the time today, you are invited to stay in this or any other resting position for a relaxation pose and maybe a meditation moment. Thinking about the love you share for others, the love you show yourself. If this is the end of your practice, I invite you to close your eyes and bow your head and whisper to yourself any closing, any blessing. Maybe revisit your intention that you set in the beginning of the practice. Maybe reminding yourself that you are love, you are loved, you are worthy of love. Thank you all for being here today. I hope you lead with open hearts and open minds out into the world. Have a great rest of your evening. Bye, everyone.